This is Mac OS Ken.
Greenpeace gives Foxconn poor marks. The underpinnings of Nothing Chat are no more safe. And so much stuff to watch this long weekend. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of November, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Apple supplier and contract manufacturer Foxconn is taking a beating from Greenpeace. Pieces from 9 to 5 Mac and from CNET say the Environmental Awareness and Advocacy Group has graded Foxconn the second lowest final assembly company on the planet in terms of decarbonization. It really needs a better name. Something catchy. Anyway, Greenpeace gave Foxconn a D+ on decarbonization. Only one company did worse, China's Gore-Tex, which got an F. Highest on the list, Taiwan's Luxshare, another Apple partner, took home a C+. Cool that they're on top, but still not a score about which to brag. 9 to 5 Mac says Greenpeace issued its report just ahead of the upcoming United Nations COP28 climate summit, which will review progress made toward the world's collective climate goals. Is it worth pointing out that Apple is not Foxconn's only client, and that Apple is not Luxshare's only client? Sure. Really, though, people will care more because of Apple's proximity and influence. Put some shame in Apple's game, and you got a press release. Xu-Ying Wu, a climate energy campaigner for Greenpeace, was quoted in one of those saying, "Tech companies boast a lot about going green, but when you look at the bigger picture, you see that their supply chains are extremely dirty. Climate action by Samsung Electronics and Foxconn has been remarkably weak. Brands like Apple and Microsoft should not promote their products as green," they continue, "when their supply chains are still powered by coal and gas. It is absolutely feasible for every supplier in this ranking to achieve 100% renewable energy within the decade, but the first step is setting ambitious targets." And of course, Apple has done that, saying a couple of years ago that it planned to drive its entire supply chain carbon neutral by 2030. Right now, though, Greenpeace says Foxconn is pointing in the wrong direction. According to the aforementioned CNET report, in 2022, Foxconn's emissions exceeded the annual emissions of Iceland, according to Greenpeace. Last year, Foxconn also made little progress on emissions reduction and renewable electricity adoption compared to its rival Luxshare Precision, the report said. So Greenpeace is leaning on Foxconn, and Greenpeace is leaning on Apple to lean on Foxconn. In news likely to surprise no one, Sunbird has shut down its iMessage app for Android. You may remember the story earlier this week about Nothing Phone introducing Nothing Chat. That was meant to bring iMessage-style chatting, complete with blue text bubbles instead of green, to Nothing 2's high-end Android self. Nothing Chat hit a few issues, though. Privacy issues. Or really lack thereof. Over the weekend, a piece from Apple Insider said the shockingly insecure iMessage bridge was pulled down, but only after it was discovered that not only did Sunbird log and retain messages, vCards, and more, but that retained user data could also be downloaded by others. The piece went on to say suspicions were raised about the app within days, including its seeming lack of encryption and the sending of login credentials over the internet using plain text HTTP. And now the punchline. Sunbird, the app on which Nothing Chat was based and built, seems to have had issues with privacy, or lack thereof. According to a piece from 9 to 5 Google, the app, which has been in closed beta since late 2022, failed to live up to the promise of end-to-end encryption for user messages and files, with that data relatively easy to access by other users. The site says it found over 630,000 files accessible through this vulnerability, where Sunbird had claimed that data was not stored on its own servers. Technically true, as the data was stored via the cloud services provider and app developer platform, Firebase. Hey, you know what's going to be fun? Implementation of the Digital Markets Act. Wait, fun may not be the word I'm looking for. Whatever. 9to5 Google says Sunbird users got a message Saturday saying we have decided to pause Sunbird usage for now while we investigate security concerns. We will update you when we are ready to proceed. Apple's first-generation AirPods Pro 2 have made their way to some of the Cupertino company's Refurbished stores. A piece from Mac Rumors says the units have landed among the refurbs in Austria, Belgium, Germany, Ireland, the Netherlands, Poland, Switzerland, and the UK. Again, though, these are the AirPods Pro 2 1, which are still available, not the AirPods Pro 2 2. Put more clearly, Mac Rumor says these are the second-generation AirPods Pro with a Lightning MagSafe charging case originally released in November of 2022. Apple updated the second-generation AirPods Pro with a USB-C MagSafe charging case and a few other changes in September 2023, but those are not yet available in Apple's Refurbished store. Confused? You should be. I have no idea why they keep doing this. They're not yet available through Apple's Refurbished store here in the States. When they are, probably still want to get them someplace else. There's nothing wrong with Apple refurbs. They're reconditioned by the Cupertino company to be about as good as new. But as Mac Rumors points out, finding actually new for less than the cost of the refurbished models through Apple-authorized resellers really isn't hard to do. Anyway, that's a thing that's happening. Happy hunting. And finally today, while Fridays for Apple TV Plus tend to start on Thursday night in the States, they have moved to Wednesday this week, which means Friday probably started last night. I know it felt that way to me. Cult of Mac ran a piece Tuesday saying that shows that normally hit on Friday were moving to Wednesday this week. The piece pointed out that Apple often, though not always, posts shows at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific the day before the shows are supposed to go. So there's a decent chance that For All Mankind, Lessons in Chemistry, and Monarch, Legacy of Monsters hit last night. Spoiler alert, I am calling in from last night, and yes, that did happen. Even if it hadn't, they would be in the stream now, and are. Also premiering today, Hannah Waddingham, Home for Christmas, the all-singing, all-dancing, tons of Ted Lasso stars starring special shot earlier this year. Also premiering today, The Velveteen Rabbit. Sorry, Apple, I'll have to check in on our rabbit friend over the weekend. You've already brought me close to tears once in the past 24 hours. Speaking of which, are you an emotional mess? Apple has a new test to find out. Here's how it works. You watch the Cupertino company's short, holiday promotional video, Fuzzy Feelings. If you feel like crying as much as I felt like when it was over, or as much as I felt like when I was telling a friend about it later, well, I won't say you are an emotional mess, but you may have something going on. Ending with the words, "You make the holidays," a piece from Apple Insider says the film follows the real-life world of an animator, plus her increasing habit of taking out her frustrations in stop motion. The film has a darkly humorous Yuletide feel, hence the "You make the holidays." It's short, it's cute, it's poignant, and it's shot on iPhone. Stop-motion director Anna Mantzaris is behind the camera, while the animator in the video shoots on iPhone and edits on a MacBook Air. Mantzaris shot on iPhone and edited on a MacBook Air. Mantzaris says it was her first time shooting with Apple's communicator. Now, there's a 1-minute video highlighting the making of the 4-minute video. In the shorter one, the director says what a pleasure it was working with Apple, and that she hopes people see the characters and the story, and that they also get inspired to try things out for themselves. Echoing a similar sentiment, the description for the longer film says, "Creativity has the power to change the way we see each other and the world. Sometimes seeing things through a new lens can make all the difference." You can see the video Fuzzy Feelings now on YouTube. You can see the behind the video on YouTube as well. And if it doesn't make you a tiny bit emotional, you may want to make sure your emotion chip is properly slotted. And with that, we wrap this short holiday week, though I do have another show for you to check out. The NosillaCast podcast's Allison Sheridan recently wrote a letter to friends and family, letting them know about passkeys. Not so much how they work, but why they should trust and use them. She joined me for this week's episode of The Checklist, brought to you by Secure Mac, to talk about that. That show normally drops on Thursday, but we pulled an Apple and let it out a day or two early this week. Allison and I also kicked around ideas of ageism and sexism in tech, and how old I think I really am. Honestly, it's a good episode to listen to before spending time with family this weekend. Let us help you help them. Look for The Checklist by Secure Mac, wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Folks here in the States, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Everybody else, stay just as groovy as you are. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.